Hello, everyone. I want to welcome you to our broadcast. This is Pastor Milton Rivera, and we've been talking about generational curses. We have corrected that a little bit, I think. But today I want to talk on another topic. And believe me, this is going to continue along for a little while because there's a lot of material to cover here. And I would love to share it with you based on your comments, based on your necessity. I want to dwell here a little bit, make a parenthesis on all my other teachings, and talk here a little bit because I felt in the spirit that there's a big need for this, and things are they don't talk enough about this. So I just want you to take a moment and look at this video because breaking a generational cycle does not start by shouting in prayer. Now, don't misunderstand stand me. Prayer is powerful. Prayer moves heavens. Prayer changes hearts. But breaking a generational cycle does not start with volume. I have you known. It starts with awareness. It starts with recognizing the pattern because here's a simple truth. You cannot fix what you refuse to see. Mm, 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 mm. And many people pray about problems, but they refuse to acknowledge the problem. And even if you go to a 12-step program, you have to realize that you have a problem. And a lot of people hate to admit defeat. But today, I want to show you how to recognize the pattern so that you don't continue to fall in it. You see? So I want to ask you a very honest question that you can go in the chat and answer. What keeps repeating in your family? Think about it. Is it anger? Is it infidelity? Is it abandonment? Is it emotional silence where nobody talks about real feelings? Or maybe it's an addiction like alcohol or drugs, compulsive behaviors, and the list can continue on and on and on. But put it in the chat. What is the problem? What you notice, because that's going to give you the awareness of what you're tackling. Now, let me say something that might make you think. Many families don't just pass down traditions, they also pass down patterns. Sometimes we inherit more than our grandmother's recipe book. Sometimes we inherit the family drama. Uh, now, let me tell you this. Here's the uncomfortable part. Many people say, I will never be like my father. And then 10 years later, they are reacting or acting exactly like him. Not because they want to, but because patterns repeat when they are not confronted. Let me say that again. Patterns repeat when they are not confronted. I feel like a lot of people's brain just went like ding, 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 ding. Okay, so sometimes people say, Pastor, I don't know why this keeps happening in my life. And the honest answer is because nobody has ever stopped the cycle. Nobody ever paused and said, wait a minute, this has been happening for 3 generations. Maybe, just maybe, we just address it. You cannot change what you refuse to recognize. Well, how do we do that? Not only we show you the problem, but now we're going to tell you how to. The Bible says in Romans chapter 12, verse 2, it says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Notice something important. God transforms people by renewing their mind, not by magic, not by accident, by changing how they think. Because the way you think creates the way you will live. Let me make this very simple for you. If someone grows up believing, man in my family always cheats, guess what? That belief becomes a permission slip. If someone grows up believing in, and they said, in our family, nobody talks about feelings, guess what's going to happen? Another generation grows up emotionally disconnected. So this is why renewing of the mind matters, because when the mind changes, decision changes. When decisions changes, generation changes. Now let me add a little humor here. Some people pray like this: Lord, change my life, but they keep thinking the same way. That's like praying for a new destination while refusing to change the GPS. Hello? You cannot arrive somewhere new with the same direction, can you? God changes your life by changing your thinking. Mm, 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 mm. Now, here's a practical step. Um, Breaking a cycle does not only means rejecting the past, it means creating a new model. Let me explain. If your father yelled at everyone, you learn how to communicate calmly. If your family handled conflicts with silence, you learn to have an honest conversation. And if your family ignore God, you build an altar in your house. You pray. You teach your children about faith. You introduce a new culture in your home. Because here's a truth about families: children learn more from what they see than what they hear. You can say be kind all day long, but if they see anger every night, guess which lesson they learn? That's right. So breaking a family cycle means becoming the example you never had. You ever give your children what you never had? I gave my children what they never had. So you become the model, you become the new standard, you become the moment where history changes direction. Let's land this point. And let me finish with this. Every family has a story. Every story includes pain. Same include broken relationships. Some include patterns that seems impossible to escape. But here's a powerful truth. Someone in the family must become the first free generation. Someone must stand up and say, this ends with me. The anger stops here. The addiction stops here. The emotional silence stops here. The cycle stops here. And let me ask you a question today. Why not you? Why not your house? Why not your generation? Because when one person decides to change the pattern, they don't just change their life, they change the future of their family. And that decision might begin with something very simple: recognizing the pattern, renewing the mind, and choosing to build a new way forward. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May his face shine upon you every day. This is Pastor Milton Rivera saying to you, Shalom from Pensacola, Florida. See you in our next video.